Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be reflecting on 2021 and showing you guys how I set intentions for the new year. So get your environment right and let's go. Woo child. So 2021 was a very different, it was like a very standout year for me. There's those years that you don't really remember when you look back, but I feel like this was one of the years that I will remember as I continue to grow, just because I feel like in some ways a lot happened, but then in some ways a lot didn't happen. I know that didn't make sense, but for me personally, last year I ended the year feeling just very much in hyper drive. I was just like going at it. I had started my business, Everything She Is Co, and I was trying to figure everything out, so I just felt like I was going. And this year I really wanted to try to focus on laying low, building, and just doing what I have to do in order to get the behind the scenes things ready. So last year I was trying to do all the things. I was trying to do the business, I was trying to do the content creation, I was trying my best, but I was so burnt out, and I felt like a failure because I couldn't juggle everything. So this year I'm like, okay sis, you gotta let something go. You cannot do everything all at once. So kind of put some things to the side, give your focus to one thing and one or two things, really focus in on that, and then when you're ready, try and shift. So that's what my plan was this year. I wanted to, one, like I said, lay low and build behind the scenes, build my brand, and really pour myself and pour resources into getting my brand out there. And it's not easy trying to build a brand from scratch and trying to come up with new products and trying to build a team, and I needed a lot of support. So I focused a lot on that, and I started to kind of feel FOMO. I was like, what are the girls doing on Instagram? I'm scrolling and I'm like, oh my god, such and such is doing this. Oh my god, such and such has her content together. Oh my god, such and such is being so consistent on YouTube. And even though I felt good about where I was, I this year was able to bring 3 people on to my team. So I am paying people's bills. Like, I have a payroll, I have people that I lean on and that lean on me, and that's a beautiful thing. And I was celebrating those things until I hopped on social media and saw what everybody else was doing. That is always the problem, and I talked about it recently in my toxic productivity video, my Let's Talk. And it's kind of like feeling good where you are, and you look right, you're like, oh, what she got going on? What's that? Okay. Then you look over here and it's like, oh dang, she doing that? Oh my god, that's crazy. I wish I was doing that too. And then you lose sight of what's in front of you and what your path is and what your mission is. So I found myself there, and I felt really like, I think it sounds kind of dramatic to say depressed, especially around social media and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, social media is a part of our lives, and it does have an effect on our mental. So I felt out of it for like a week. I was just like very upset, and like I didn't really understand why. And then one day I kind of just broke down, and what it was that I was trying to go back to like juggling the things, because I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get left in the dust. Everybody's moving forward, all the content creators are doing this, let me try. But I'm giving it a half effort because that's not where my focus is. So I'm giving it a half effort and then feeling defeated when I don't get the result that I want, because I'm not being consistent. The algorithm punishes you. So I know that I'm going to lose followers. I know I'm not creating natural hair content like I used to. I know I'm trying to shift lanes, and I know that I'm just becoming a different person, and that's going to come with shedding. That's going to come with letting some things go. But it was a hard reality, and it felt painful. It felt painful to be like, okay, wow, these people found value in me. They clicked follow, they clicked subscribe, they found me valuable. Now they don't find me valuable anymore, because now I'm not talking about what they want me to talk about. Now I'm not showing up as often as they want me to show up. And it was on me to correct that thinking and to shift my perspective. It took going through that process of just feeling like, don't nobody with me, man. Like nobody gets me, nobody understands me, and just having that narrative play over and over in my head. That's one of the biggest things that I struggle with, is feeling like people don't understand me. Nobody will ever understand me or get me. But I also don't really give people the chance, because as soon as I put myself out there and I don't get the immediate response, it's like, okay, I'm gonna draw back in. So that is what I felt like was going on this year, and I now am in such a better place. And it was really just a matter of, one, talking to the people that were closest to me and having my friends be like, girl, what you talking about? Like, you are still doing your thing, and you're doing your thing in your own right, and that matters. And I had to really think about that and be like, yeah, like, I'm literally doing what it is that I wanted to do, doing what it is I didn't know I wanted to do. Like, I said a long time ago that I wanted to write a book. Now I have a book. And I'm sitting here crying because my post didn't get a lot of likes. It's like, it's mental illness. It's really mental illness. And I know I'm not alone, because doing this isn't easy. Trying to be a content creator, but then kind of separate yourself from the results, or separate yourself from the numbers of it all and the game of it all, is really difficult, especially when you do it as your work. So I am in the process of redefining who I am and letting that be okay. So the people that get it, the people that don't, and it just is what it is. I'm gonna be able to attract a new audience, and I don't care if the audience is smaller than it was before. I do not care, because my interests have evolved so much, and that's a point about evolution. When you evolve, everybody isn't going to witness it, and that's something that I had to be okay with. It's like, yes, at one point some people may have found value in me because of what I could teach them about their natural hair, and that's beautiful. But that person doesn't necessarily have to see through to my self-care journey, see through to my self-love and what I have to offer in that arena. Maybe they stopped. They got off right after the natural hair stopped, and that's okay. And I just thank them for riding with me at all. A lot of times it's really just a mental shift that I had to make. And those things are normal, like that voice in your head saying, like, you fumbled the bag. Like, you don't want to do natural hair anymore. That's what was growing you, that was what was making you visible, and you don't want to do that anymore. Like, you're done. And for me, I had to respond and say, no, I'm not done. I have so much more to offer, and I have so much more to give, and it's going to look different, and it's going to be a different audience. But at the same time, I'm not going to let that stop me from sharing and stop me from being my true authentic self and using my voice. And another thing is with me being an introvert, it's hard already. Like, it's hard to share anything. It's hard to get on the camera. It was hard in 2011 when I made my first video, and it's still hard, but I'm growing, and it's even more personal because now I want to talk more about my more intimate and my more personal life than just hopping on the camera and doing a voiceover for a hair tutorial. So there's a lot more at stake, it feels like, but I'm comfortable because I've learned enough about myself to be able to say, like, whatever the response, I know that it was authentic. As long as it was true to me, and as long as I feel comfortable with what it is that I put out, that's okay. That's that on that, period. I'm not sure how many of you guys watched my, life update video, but I talked a little bit about it there. I ended a toxic relationship at the end of 2019, and then I ended up meeting, to my surprise, my current boyfriend the beginning of 2020. It was pretty hard for me because I used to value a lot how people looked at me, and what I had to learn was that I can't control people's narrative. And I know I've heard that before, but it's different when you're currently dealing with it and when you feel bad about how somebody perceives you, but at the end of the day, you can't control it. So in that relationship, I found myself kind of just checking off boxes. So it was like, okay, yeah, okay, you got this. Okay, cool. Okay, your family's like this. Okay, cool, mine too. Like, it was just like a check thing, but it wasn't like a in real life connection kind of thing. And we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. And I feel blessed that I was able to make that distinction, and I wasn't trapping myself, because sometimes I felt like what more do you want, girl? Like, oh my gosh, what more do you want? This person has a great job. This person is a nice person, not a bad person at all, has a great family. What more do you want? Because I think what I was dealing with before was very outwardly toxic, that when I got in this, I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good. Like, this is a regular person. He's not crazy. But you know, it still wasn't the right person for me. So my mom is like, oh, you're gonna go through stuff with people, and it's like, I understand that, but at the same time, I want to find the person that is for me. So I kept feeling like, dang, like, you're never satisfied. I would tell myself like, dang, you're never satisfied. But I had to realize that this is just not the person for you, and you can't be scared to let somebody go in fear of that you'll never find that person. It doesn't matter. At this point, I know that it doesn't matter, and when I let something go, I open myself up to something better. And I'm currently in a relationship that is the most healthy relationship that I've ever been in, and that doesn't mean that it's easy, but it's also very, very, it's beautiful because I find myself being able to open up in a way that I haven't before. Just the amount of respect that I feel like we have for each other, the way that we can talk about everything, the way that we can be honest, the way that we can be vulnerable. Those are the things that I am prioritizing in my life for myself. I want to be able to be vulnerable and authentic, and that doesn't exclude my relationship. So I also want to be able to be vulnerable there. And it's such a safe space, and I'm very grateful for that. I also had to let go of some connections. So I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's not really necessary, but business-wise, I had to let go of some people that didn't necessarily shift with me, and it was okay. You know, it's no bad blood. It's just a matter of, do you align with who I am right now and who I want to be? And the answer to that question was no. So I felt no way about being like, okay, well, this just isn't it. You know, I gave it time, but it didn't catch up to where I felt like I was. That person just didn't see me for who I was coming into and who I wanted to be, the vision for myself. So I'm currently surrounded by people that I feel like understand the vision that I see for myself, and that respect it, and that want to see me grow, and that want to see me evolve. And there's no resistance to that. And when I share what I see for myself, there's no resistance. So I'm so happy for that. Another one of the big things that I learned this year is that things take time, but it's working. I know for me at least, sometimes it may feel like I'm working on something, and you know, I'm doing all the things, all the self-care, I'm doing all of the hard work, and I feel like I'm not changing. But I realized this year that I am. And I think it was the first year where it was like super, super apparent to me that I'm a different person than I was, in the best of ways. And that doesn't mean that this year was perfect, because it was not at all. I suffered some loss and had some really, really hard times, but in the grand scheme of things, coming out of that, I feel so much different. I feel like, wow, there's hope for your anxiety, because there's things that you can do. As you continue to learn yourself, you'll learn what you need to do in order to keep that under control. And you can fall into new habits. You can let things go. You can get closer and closer and closer to mastering something. And I don't know about y'all, but that is a beautiful revelation, because sometimes it's like, you know what, give me the crack, give me the whatever, because this life is hard. But the things that I'm doing to try and be better are working. And I watched my video from, what was that, 2019? It was New Year's Eve. And I watched that and I cried. And I cried in the video too. But because I was talking about growth, and I was talking about where I wanted to be, what I wanted to focus on. And the Candace from 2019 will be so proud of the Candace in 2021, at the end of 2021, because I had the courage to go after it, and I'm in the thick of it. And I didn't know at that time that, you know, I would be where I'm at. And it's not like I'm anywhere crazy. I'm still very much, you know, on the floor doing the hard work. It's not glow up time yet, but I'm almost there, and I'm still working at it, and I still see a future in what it is that I'm trying to do. That video, I was still living in my parents' house, and now, you know, obviously I have my own place. I'm about to be moving soon into something bigger and better. Praise God. And I've continued to grow, and that's really all I want. That's all you can ever want for yourself, is growth. And it may take, you know, some years stacked up. See, I wasn't saying this in 2020. because the growth didn't feel like it was there. But in 2021, now I feel it. So sometimes it takes time, and I'm glad to say that I'm grateful for it, and that I can pat myself on the back and not consistently feel like you're not doing enough, you need to grow more. I'm taking a second right now. Everybody take a second right now. Reflect on where you were last year. Not even last year, because last year doesn't really count. Where you were at the beginning of 2019, and think about where you're at now, and see if there's some growth there that you can be grateful for. Find anything to be grateful for and just relish in that and sit in that. So I use the intention guide that I created for Everything She Is Code. It's a free downloadable for anybody that wants to use it, and use the prompts there to help guide you through creating your intentions if it's your first time, or if you just want to explore a new method. So I did this here.
So I just wanted to be clear, these are my 2021 intentions. I'll be setting my 2022 intentions later at the end of this video and giving you guys a little bit more detail of my process.
And it says my New Year intentions. Mentally, there's 5 different categories. The first one is mentally. And I felt like I wanted more peace, more balance, more clarity, and organization, because I felt like I was literally all over the place. Before this year, I felt like I really only had 2 different modes. So it was either super chill mode, don't feel like doing nothing, or it's like overdrive mode. So whenever I would get excited, I would go all the way to the other end of it, and then what would happen? I'll get burnt out because I was just doing too much. I was too excited, too much. There was no balance there. So trying to find balance has been a long journey for me, especially with my issues with anxiety, and just trying to just be able to relax and, you know, work at something and then put it down, pick it back up, work at it, and put it down throughout the day. Once I would pick it up, I wouldn't know how to put it back down and how to retreat from it back into myself to replenish. So that will cause me to burn out. So my intentions for that was, I intend on inviting more balance in my life by being clear about my goals, organizing my thoughts, releasing anxiety, and allowing rest. So knowing what I want, working towards it, but then also taking a step back and just focusing on me and what makes me feel good, so I can have longevity. And the next category is physically, and I said I wanted more flexibility, more energy, more care, more movement and exercise, more control over my posture and muscles, more water, and whole foods. So I'm not sure how many of y'all know, but it's a running joke for everybody else. They think it's funny, but I have had back pain for a few years now, and it started when I was working at my desk job, and I never do what I have to do to heal it. It's like I know exactly what I need to do. I know that I need to stretch every day. I know that I need to be conscious of my posture. I know that I need to go to the gym consistently to keep my muscles that holds my body up strong, but I can never stay consistent with it. So that is what this was about. It's just being more mindful, so I can feel good in my body. It's not fun to have consistent pain, and it's also crazy how I know what I need to do, but I just don't make time for it. And I can prioritize other things, but I can't prioritize my body. So I made sure I put that into my intention, so I can make sure that I was prioritizing my body and the things that it needs. Relationally, I needed more connection, more vulnerability, and more support, and I definitely did that. I leaned on my friends a lot more this year, and I also reached out to other people. I started therapy, and even though I've only had a few sessions at this point, it was a step in the right direction. And I also got a mentor, and I've been leaning on people a lot more. So that's good. And then financially, I wanted more capital, more money, more savings, and more structure. I'm the type of person that doesn't like to look at their bank account. I just like to swipe it. I'll figure it out later. I do not like looking at my bank account. It literally gives me anxiety. So I need more structure in my finances. I need to stop being afraid of my money. So yeah. Spiritually, I needed more guidance, more faith, more connection, and more answers. So I'm about to do a quick meditation just to get centered and to tap into self. And then I'm going to grab my notebook and get into these intentions.
So I'm currently writing in the journal section of my self-love workbook, but I do go in after and add all of my intentions to the intention setting guide so it can be on my phone with me everywhere that I go. So a lot of people mistake intentions for goals, and the difference between intentions and goals is that goals usually are tied to a specific external achievement. So usually a number or a certain amount of something that you want to hit, or just something that you want to receive on a physical level. And intentions are more about what you wish to feel just as a person, what it is that you want more of in your life. And it's the intangible things and what you can do to make those things a reality, how you can shift, how you can change to shift your thoughts and attitudes to align with how you desire to feel about yourself and about others. So when you're thinking about what you need in these different areas, make sure that you're digging deep and you're sitting with it and thinking about what doesn't feel good, what doesn't serve you, what does serve you, and how you can make those shifts and those changes. Mentally, for me this year, I wanted more stimulation. I want more just challenge. So I made the intention to invite more stimulation into my mental space by prioritizing reading and other activities that challenge me. I also wanted more quiet time, so I intended on inviting more quiet time by scheduling downtime and allowing for daydreaming and not using every moment as a moment to think for the future. My physical intentions this year were pretty similar to last year because I did not get as close to those feelings that I wanted, and I kind of want to work a little bit harder at it this year. So I wanted to invite more routine into my life and just create a sustainable plan for movement and prioritizing that and having clear start and stop times for work. Also making sure that I fit in stretching and things that are good for my body. Relationally this year, it's a little bit different because I wanted more fun, I want more experiences, and I want more collaboration. So I decided to challenge myself to trust my gut on who aligns with me and who doesn't, and not being afraid to reach out to people that I feel like would be in good alignment with me. And I also told myself that I will plan things for myself and take control of my life outside of work and plan and think about what it is that I want and not wait on anybody to make that come true. And financially, I put a bag on here, and that's not super serious, but in reality, I really want consistency in my finances. I want to find a good balance so I can consistently create revenue for myself and create a sustainable wealth for myself. And that's going to require work, and that's going to require having a plan, but it's also going to require self-care so I don't burn out and so I don't fall short of that. So all of that is kind of wrapped up into one, and the end result is a bag, baby. Spiritually, my intentions were the same as last year. I'm still on that journey. I've made a few shifts in the way that I think about spirituality, so I'm trying to find the best ways for me to connect. So all of mine are the same as last year. We're going to keep working at it and keep trying to just get closer to the source. And that is a wrap, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you need a little help or want a place for all of your intentions to live, make sure you download the free intention setting guide by everything.𝗫𝐶𝐶 is 𝗀. It is beautiful, easy on the eyes, and it also really works. And yes, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.